G'day everybody, welcome back to the Weedy Garden on the hill, where I love to do experiments. And on this episode, I'm going to do a very interesting experiment. And the experiment I'm going to do today is in Wormville. Wormville is my worm farm. If you're new to my channel, you might not know yet that I'm a photographer. Before COVID, I was travelling around the world taking photos and making videos. But when lockdown started, I made my garden. When lockdown was finished, I decided to stay here and do experiments in the garden and share them with you. So I emptied my compost the other day and I was wondering, I wonder what it really looks like when those worms start getting into that banana. And because I'm a photographer, I actually have the ability to find that out. You see, when I was out travelling, I learned this really interesting trick. And it's kind of like making a glass window into anything you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just chop this banana in half, just like that. And then I think what I'll do is I'll eat the other half. So I'm going to bury my banana down inside the worm farm, up against the side of it here, up against the metal side. Just watch what happens. I'll just bury it down here, see, and I'll just put it against the side of the bathtub and just push it down in here. Okay, just push it down a little bit more, like that. Then I'll cover it up with worm castings, as if I was never there. So it's right down here in the bottom here, and then what I'll do, warm my hands up. If I just go like this, see? Oh, look at that, that is so fantastic. All those worms are just loving that banana, and all the little mites. So incredible and intricate. Nature's working its art right in front of us. Look at the little bubbles coming, that's the fermentation. It's the banana fermenting underneath the ground there. Let's have a closer look. You see it starts with the mites first, the mites attacking it, and then the worms are coming in. Wow, that was amazing, wasn't it? Put up your hand if you thought that was incredible. I thought that was incredible, and I'm glad I've got the ability to do things like that with my cameras. And I want to say thank you to all those people that helped contribute to buy my new camera. If you want to hang around a little bit, I'll show you how I made that shot exactly, detail for detail, step by step. First, I'll need some worms. So you want a bunch of worms, look. Ta-da! Isn't that amazing? I'll get a whole heap of those, put them in my yellow bucket. You know, worms, they eat about their same weight in food every day. So if you've got a kilo of worms, then you have to give them a kilo of food. But they'll kind of balance their population out depending on how much food they get. I'll get another few handfuls. All right, looks like it's starting to rain now. So that was good timing. Let's come inside. It might be a bit noisy because the rain's raining on the roof here, but I've got my worm castings here. And I've got this little studio here, see? So that's all it is, just a little styrofoam box. And I put a glass on the front and taped it around here. Okay, it's really important to make sure the glass is clean. And then I'll cut the banana in half now. Then I'll just take the banana and put it in up against the glass, lay it nice and flat on the glass, see? I just get some of this soil here in the bucket. This is just ordinary garden soil. I don't want the front of it to be all yucky and everything. I want it to be looking like nice soil against the glass. Okay, just for aesthetic looks. There's lots of worms. On you go, guys. Worms in there, and I just lay them down and kind of pack them down on top of that, so it keeps it against the glass. See, there we go. You see the banana against there? I'll just put a few more worms in. Press that nice and tight down, so So it's all nice and stable. Now I'll take it down to the little photo studio. This is exciting because this is where the magic happens. Okay, so this is my little studio, and it's a very makeshift little thing. It's just like the polytunnel that I built on this episode there. So, welcome to the little photo studio. Now I'll show you how I set up this camera and do it. So it's really important in here to have the lights off. It's important to have it totally dark because the worms will come out to the glass and they'll see the light and they'll go, oh no, it's too bright out here. They don't like to be outside, they like to be underground. So if there's light out here, they won't come out to the glass, so we won't see them. So we have to photograph everything in pitch black darkness. So if I have it totally in darkness, see, then the worms will come out to the glass because it's dark, right? And then when the flash goes off, boom, they go, what was that? Oh, nothing, and keep eating. So that's why it's important to shoot the whole thing in the dark, and that's why I use the flash. Okay. Now I'm going to show you how I set up the shot. Okay, so I've got it set up here, and it's also another thing it's important, and that is the lighting. You don't want to have your light down here because you'll see the reflection of the light in the glass, you see. So you want to have your light up here out of the reflection of the camera, but enough to give the light on the whole subject. Because it's up against the glass, it's a pretty even light. So that's pretty simple. So if we're going to do a time lapse of something that takes a long time, we don't want to be changing the batteries every day. We don't want to do that because a few reasons. We don't want to keep our eye on the batteries, and we don't want to move the camera every time we change the batteries. So what I've got here is a tether tool, it's called, which is a battery shaped little gadget that goes in the camera where the battery is and runs down to the main power. So the power is constantly coming to the camera the whole time. That's really important. Another thing I notice when I'm doing time lapse in here, in the summertime, it heats up in the heat of the day. So everything expands, and then it cools down again at night time, so everything shrinks again. So when you're doing a time lapse, everything's going like this. It's kind of like going up and down. This little studio does that in the summertime. Another thing you'll need is your remote. Got my remote, my cable release here, which I've set to every 5 minutes. When you do a video, there's 24 frames in a second. So, all right. And so if you want to do a second of time lapse, you need 24 frames. So if I'm doing a picture if I'm taking a photo every hour, then I'm taking 1 second a day. Shutter speed and aperture. If you're a photographer and you've come this far, then you'll figure that out yourself, so I'm not going to go into those small details. Turn the camera on and focus. It looks pretty nice in there. I think I'll just do a little test frame. Ooh, it's a little bit too light, so I'll just turn my flash down a little bit. How does that look now? Ooh, that's better. Alrighty. So then all I do now is turn on my timer and turn off the lights, and then come back in a week. Okay. And then when it's all gone, turn the camera off. Take the memory card into the computer. Final step. Just turn off everything. Okay. You just chuck the memory card in. Okay, this is pretty easy really once you know how to do it. So you put all your files in your folder that you're going to keep on your computer. And then you can check out your card again. Right? And now we've got to open all these photos in Photoshop. So we select them all. Then we just got to select all our photos. This is really easy once you know how to do it. We open it up in Photoshop and then I select all of them. Right? And then we can go up to our little adjustments. And what I usually do is I give it a bit of clarity. And then I go up to here and I bring up the shadows a little bit. Bring up the shadows a little bit. And then I just reduce the highlights a little bit. And the whites a little bit. And then maybe overall a little bit. I reckon like that. And then save them. And I export them. Make a new folder. I'll call it just banana JPEGs. Alrighty. And I want to save them full size because I want to be able to zoom in and out of the shot once it's playing, see? So we just save those and that'll take a fair while. Once I've done that, I open up Final Cut Pro project. I call it Banana Timelapse 1. And then I select what quality video I want it. I'm going to select just 1080, 24 frames per second. I think if you're living in the United States, you're working with 25 frames per second, but here in Australia we use 24 frames per second. Select them all, and then just carry them over and drop them on the timeline. So then you want to press Ctrl D, and you want to make each picture 1 frame each, and then save it. Then just wait for it to render. Sometimes it takes ages and ages and ages. Still waiting for it to render. There we go. So finish rendering. Then we go up here and we just save it. Share, export file, and we give it a name. Banana. Save. It just takes ages and ages and ages to do this. Saving. This is what takes most of the time to do these videos, everybody. So that's how I do it. It's a very time-consuming process, but I enjoy it very much. It's the cameras give you that opportunity to see something that your eye would never see. That's what I love about photography and my job. And I hope you enjoyed this video too. You don't get to see compost worms demolishing a banana like that very often. So I'm happy that I could share that with you. If you like my content, give us a thumbs up, give us a comment, give us a little subscribe. And until the next video, have a nice life. Enjoy it. And I'll see you on the next video. GoPro, stop recording.